45. Allahu Malik. Naga shubid badana golle kamai gesi. Ha?
Here modli wine.
Even here that food cooking. With beda.
With beda. Yeah.
You know.
Look at them playing. Intelligence of about a 3 or 4-year-old, so they really enjoy playing, and they're not tedious as well. They can hold up to about 4.5 to 5 gallons of water in that trunk, but they don't lengthen their trunk up like a swing, drinking through Missouri. The animals have large spaces which they share with each other. They're also sharing food and water sources.
জঙ্গলের মানুষের অঞ্চলে ফটো তুলবে হ্যাঁ ফটো তুলবে মনে জঙ্গলে দিচ্ছে
Looking for the big cat. We have 3 tigers and 3 lions. Also, then we'll get a better look at this whole troop in just a moment as we start off around the corner. On the right-hand side, you'll see some orange antelopes from Uganda, the Zion cob antelope. And they're not found in just that one country alone, but that's pretty big and tall already. In fact, when they're first born, they're tall enough that they can hide behind torso. Now, these little animals are only 30 or 40, 50 pounds at most, and yet they give birth to a baby that weighs 8 to 10 pounds at birth. And mom usually gives birth not to one, but to twins. Persian Golden Alpha-Lucidae, they can have antlers, for the males at least, up to 5 feet. They can last just the antlers alone. Looking where you can just see a glimpse of a water hole up the ravine. Looks like big rocks in it. Those are not. Those are rhinoceros in that water hole right now. Rhinos don't have it's okay to tell them that really is their species name. I'm not referring to anybody on the train. They come from the Himalayas and they migrate up and down the hills anywhere from 15 to 17,000 feet, the eastern Kiang. Now there's some animals you may know little spots of white sunlight on the ground, but the spotting of the deer helps them to blend into that double shadow pattern. Those are true spotted deer called Indian access deer. Wonderful racks of antlers on those Indian access deer. Most of them are still in are even getting to hand feed rhinos and giraffes. That's the photo Kira has. You have to be at least 12 years of age or older, but it is a wonderful experience that you'll never forget. Get some good close-up looks at the animals, great pictures, and these wild asses from Somalia and Ethiopia. They're endangered today. Fewer than 1,000 of them left alive in the entire world because of the famine in those countries. Here, of course, they get breakfast and dinner every night. On the left-hand side, you'll also see some beautiful white animals, the long thin horns. These are Arabian orcs. There are many orcs around the park, and they have the same body shape, same beautiful black and white markings. There are 11 of them left alive in the world. This after breeding results in numbers back up now between 12 and 1,600. Yes, but he was 178 pounds when he was first born. That is the man side of his mother, Jamia. Brown, where the rocks and the dirt help them to hide. Those are sheep, Armenian mouflons. You haven't spotted them. Look in the shadows. And over here? And our attraction, the rhino baby at the top of the hill is not yet 11 and a half months old. This is Kahati, and so she may look small, but compared to her, you can imagine that she really is still very heavy.
Can I see it?
Want to know what it's like to feed a rhinoceros? It's sort of like feeding a garbage disposal. They lift up their heads so you can reach, open up the garbage disposal. But it's really fun. And the females never get any darker than what you see right here, but as the males get older, they get darker and darker until they're almost black in color. And then the main black buck makes no sense. 6-day-old babies, when they're first born, again, they have a light brown color of the dirt of their environment. Behind the mothers to get together for breeding purposes only. Then they get back and live with the males alone. You see, the males are more adventurous. They stay out where the food is better, even if it means they're more open to predators spotting them and eating them, because they need to be strong in order to win the battles, in order to be breeding males. There's a Thompson's Gazelle. The two that are closest to us, one is sitting down, but her face is facing towards the back of the train. Little baby who's curled up just less than a week old. Those are Roosevelt Gazelle. Actually, a little bit bigger all over the colors. And Africa. In fact, these are the only deer found in Africa. They're called the Barbary red deer. They've been there 2,000 to 3,000 years, so although we don't know how they came to be in Africa, it's a very impressive horn. In fact, they can be measured from the tip of one horn to the tip of the next one over 7 feet. To breed, the numbers are up. In fact, almost 7,000 of these animals exist. Terrible numbers. So there are safe in captivity. We are continuing bringing them, but because we have had success point rhinoceros. On the left-hand side, in our North African enclosure, you'll see 2 camels. Notice that one is brown as we come to expect camels. The other one is pretty close to white, kind of a light tan color. They're giraffe would have. They're so beautiful. And they are very tall, 5 to 6 feet tall, as I mentioned when they're first born. Giraffes have a real hard time in the wild. They have a very high infant mortality rate. Area. The 4,000 to 6,000 pound animals in this infested book. Now, their own special enclosure right down below, we have some very shy animals called the greater coup in their building. These greater coup, or these here, those racks of antlers can be up to 40 pounds each antler. And the Manu are the only deer in the world who grow 2 sets of antlers every single season. Very impressive deer. These stags are down to the left of the tree, right in that thick part of the shadow. Those little brown animals are full-grown deer called, if you know, if you think the big animal looks very similar in the wild, they have a very high infant mortality rate. Area. The 4,000 to 6,000 pound animals in this infested book. Now, their own special enclosure right down below, we have some very shy animals called the greater coup in their building. These greater coup, or these here, those racks of antlers can be up to 40 pounds each antler. And the Manu are the only deer in the world who grow 2 sets of antlers every single season. Very impressive deer. These stags are down to the left of the tree, right in that thick part of the shadow. Those little brown animals are full-grown deer called, if you know, if you think the big animal looks very similar, same face shape, same big horns, same kind of body, but that's a buffalo. No white on the buffalo. Those are domesticated Asian water buffalo, 2.5 weeks old. In this species, the baby have short, dagger-like horns. They jump up. Let's remind them what they're doing so they don't accidentally get up and walk away. And those are the African ostriches. Now, she didn't bother to get up even when the truck came by.
There's a baby lamb or 2 on the left-hand side. Just above the second fence, there's 2 moms, 2 sheep, ewes, standing with their baby lambs right behind them. Baby and ibex. Just to the right of that ibex on the same crack, you'll see one of the males of the rams of the sheep. It's the European loose one again. Just above those 2 on the next crack are Himalayan tar. They both have a V-shaped horn. The female to the right, she's chewing a little bit. She's more grayish in color. Her horns are smaller. The male is on the left-hand side. He's got a thicker set of horns, of wild horses. They have a stocked. What has never been bred into our domestic.
That is a saddle-billed stork. So you come around and you can see that he's got a mark on his chest, on that mobile stork.
This is Judy down the end. She is upside down. There's a pygmy chimpanzees or bonobos. These bonobos are rainforest animals, and they're in danger today, not because they're being hunted, but because the rainforest in which they live is being burnt off today at the rate of 6,000 acres every hour of every day. Being burnt off, among other reasons, for the strict mining of bauxite, which is the main ingredient for aluminum. Did you know that their eye has a black mark that runs through it? It lines up exactly with the horns on top of their head. When a predator sees them from a long distance away, by the front of the train and down that shadow area, you'll see some orange animals with white stripes. These are the bongos. Watch for a little baby who's almost 5 weeks old in this group. Bongos were not even discovered by European scientists until 1906, so they're a relatively new find to the Western world. But my favorite animal